Hey everybody, Todd here. Welcome back to another Wellness Talks Briefs. Going to do like we always do, move through the tools and the trends over the last week, moving through three small exercises that you can use to help you to engage and deal with what's going on with these trends. And this is something that I have seen come up as a theme in the past before, but with COVID and the restrictions and not being able to do the things that we've always been able to do, this type of a feature has been something I've been noticing people struggling with more often than not. And that's simply dealing with the day feeling like it's a groundhog's like day. What I mean by this is that it's either a work day or it's a not working day. We're staying home and really pretty much doing the same things over and over and over again. Now, of course, this has been intensified by the need to stay home and to socially isolate and to do what we can to protect ourselves from the virus. And with the coming flu season, this is going to become even more prevalent. So, how do we deal with Groundhog's Day besides trying to relive that movie over and over again? Well, first we're going to do is just fall back into an awareness skill and get present in this moment and just notice the tendency. Notice the thoughts and the sensations that are arising in this state that we know as boredom. Same old Groundhog's Day effect. Where do you actually feel this in your body? What thoughts show up during this time, during moments like this? Notice that there's a thought, a tendency to complain about how uninteresting life actually is. And more importantly, notice how these thoughts impact your behavior. More doesn't always necessarily equal better outcome. What would it be like if we could just hold these thoughts curiously in our mind, in our hands, about our current state of mind? What else might curiosity inspire in us, in you, that might address this state of boredom? So just sit there in this moment and be curious about the moment. Notice the tendency, notice what your mind has to say or do when it comes to this situation. Once we can get present in this moment, then we can begin to expand our perspective of the situation. And here's where we'll move into an openness skill. Now, chances are you're having a difficult thought. And we all have these thoughts that are difficult. And of course, boredom is absolutely no exception to this. So we took a moment to figure out what is that thought that keeps showing up? How is it actually impacting my behaviors? How am I reacting to that thought? So just allow yourself then to really get clear and to look at that thought, how it's impacting your behavior, and begin to look at other things that you might be able to do in order to move in a direction that'll make this moment matter now. In dealing with difficult thoughts, it's also not a bad idea to give it a name, to label it. In doing this, we give ourselves some space by objectifying something that we're typically subject to. So instead of actually having a filter or a set of glasses over our eyes in which we're viewing the world through, which will alter the way we behave, if I can actually pull those glasses off, pull this away a little bit, and identify that thought, I'm really bored. It gives us space to see that there are other things that we could be doing in this moment that will actually matter to us. You can also then pay attention to the different sensations that are happening in your body and how those are contributing to that thought in the first place. And then we can take these first two. We become aware, we create a certain space of openness, and then we can drop anchor. We can have a values anchor and start to play around when this boredom shows up in your life. How do you want to handle it versus how do I respond automatically to the sensations and the thoughts that I'm having? And we become curious Okay, if I have this thing, Groundhog's Day, this day seems to be the same as it's always been. What actually matters? Pain of presence, bored, understimulated, nothing is new or novel. Well, then, if I realize that that's the pain of presence, I can start to look at the pain of absence, and that's connecting to other people, that's being creative. So, how can we begin to move in a direction that actually matters to us? So, maybe connection really is, belonging really is the big component that you would like to, that hurts. We're not getting these connections. Meeting outside with friends, spending a weekend at a park, doing an activity that you would normally do inside, outside at a pavilion. Now we're running out of time to actually be outside, especially up here in the north. So then what can we utilize when it comes to the internet? Can we play virtual games? Can I have a small group over? Can we set up the garage as a place where we can meet and have a large table and play cards or whatever it happens to be? And yes, it might seem difficult at first. And it might be difficult up until the moment of the actual event. And I'm sure you've had these moments. I really don't want to go, but you go and you do something anyways. And afterwards, once the event is done, you're very happy, very satisfied that you went because it ended up being something that was worthwhile and meaningful. But we only can do this if we can become aware of the situation, open ourselves wider, disidentified from that thought or group of thoughts, Groundhog's Day. Remember what it is that actually matters by the pain of absence. Why is there really pain here? It's not just the thing that's happening, it's what I'm not getting access to. And then letting go of that path that I have to do this in order to experience this moment and start to get creative, to become curious and looking for a new way to connect. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to like, and if you can, subscribe so as I do these updates, you'll be able to pick these up and get these new tips and tricks each week. I hope that this works well for you. I hope your week goes well and stay safe and healthy, especially as we prepare for the flu season. And I will see you next week for another wellness talk. Until then, may you be well.